I have found a theme. These incredible Houston women that I get on this Houston Woman podcast: energy, passion, coffee. And I'm looking at your Houston Eateries blog, and I see Catalina Coffee.
One of my favorites in Houston.
All right, we have a beautiful lady here, just so you know, in studio. And pronounce your name for me, just so we get it right.
Araz Garakanian.
Native Houstonian.
That's right.
All right. Catalina gets you fired up. Even in my wheelchair, I make my way over there. Bathrooms are wheelchair accessible. It's one of my favorite places.
That's awesome. Absolutely love that place.
Talk about how you started. You've definitely got a face for Instagram, but that's not what got you started. I mean, you're a beautiful young lady, but you're also a petroleum engineer. You didn't need to go into this social media thing. How did it begin for you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the question I get all the time. Try my best to make it as short as possible. But somehow I'm like, wait, this just turned into a 20-minute answer.
That's okay.
You know? But okay, so let's see. It started out, a few years back. I started trying out different restaurants here and there, coffee shops, bars. And I developed a list in, either my notes on my phone and so forth, and would just have like restaurants I've been to, restaurants I want to go to, bars, coffee shops. And if I did nothing all weekend, but literally just check one of those restaurants or bars or something off, I was happy. People would be like, what'd you do last weekend? I'm like, oh, I went to this restaurant. Like, what else? I'm like, that was it. And I loved it, So internally, I would write my little reviews and think to myself, okay, I'll go back here for these things. I wouldn't go back for those things and so forth. So it started off like that. Little by little, my friends kind of started, catching on to this. So whenever they would go to restaurants or they needed recommendations, they would always come to me. They just wanted a restaurant name. They'd be like, okay, our family's coming to town. We want to find an Italian place to sit outside. And I'm like, okay, go to the restaurant, go during these times, get this waiter, order these 3 things. Don't order these 2 things, because if you order these 2 things, you're not going to like that place at all. Blah, 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 blah. Like went on and on. They're like, we just wanted a name, but thank you,
Yeah.
And after they were done, I truly cared to know about their experience. Like, it wasn't just a recommendation. Right. Afterwards I would like call them, wait, are you guys done? Did you guys love it? Wait, but did your parents love it too? Would you go back? And when they told me that they were so happy with the recommendation, thank you so much, everyone loved it, this is what we were looking for, I was excited.
I don't even know how you go from petroleum engineer to this lady over here. How do you do that? What's the connection?
Honestly, sometimes I don't know either.
Is it working with men that makes you go crazy?
It makes me go crazy. I'm like, I got to get out of here, But, honestly, I always wondered that too, like how I kind of branched off into this. But I think if you think about it, it just kind of rounds me off, right? During the day, it is, the left side of my brain, the math, the science, crunching numbers and so forth. And then I found this like niche, this love, this passion of mine to where, in the afternoons and on weekends, it was like using the right side of my brain. So the creative side. And I love it. I think it's like a perfect balance. That's one of the biggest things that I talk about anytime I'm invited anywhere. You don't have to be a full-time blogger in order to be successful in this. I have my daytime job, which I'm, very dedicated to. After that, going to the gym every day is crucial for me, especially if you see the way that I eat.
We've seen some of the food. Yum.
Outside of that, I attend all the blogging events and so forth, get home, catch up with my blog. I'm huge in responding and engaging with my followers, and they know that. Like, I respond to all my messages about anything. And I think that's key to have that connection. I'm not just this blogger up in the air that is so into myself that I just, everyone look at me, everyone like no, it's about them. If it wasn't for the followers following me, I wouldn't have a page. I wouldn't have anyone to turn to, right? That's what makes it what it is.
Now, I'm just trying to follow you. You have this. Where did you go to school, first of all? What part of Houston?
I went to no part of Houston. I went to UT Austin, baby. Go Longhorns.
Okay, that's fine. That's where I got my start in Austin.
Oh,
all right.
cool.
You come to Houston, and you're working this pretty intense job. What would be your day like? What are your hours?
So usually, let's say 7 to 5:30 or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
You travel sometimes for business.
I travel to the field, to the coolest places ever. Just kidding. I go to like Midland, Pecos, Texas, places I really had no idea about until I started working in the oil field. People are like, you travel so much, it's so cool. I'm like, have you heard of Searcy, Arkansas? Because that's where I go. Like, do you know what that is?
Good. This
but
cute, vivacious girl comes in. You just made that place go crazy. And then there's not very many restaurants there, I'm sure, that you want to experience to put on your Instagram
Not
page.
at all. And, your options are really like donuts, kolaches, fried this, fried that. So usually if I'm there for like when I first started out, I was going to the field for 2 weeks at a time. On my way in, I would stop at an HEB, like grocery shop with whatever
store.
I could.
Yes.
But the problem was the hotels that I was staying at, like they didn't have kitchens. So I had to think of things that like I could microwave, use out of the fridge. People would just laugh at me in the field because they'd be like, okay, we're going out to eat. I would have this little pack of like, oh, got my like celery that I chopped up and this and that. They're like, wow, you're eating like a bird. I'm like, I have to. It's it's so easy to get fat here.
Your avocado, your banana,
good
your
to go.
Almond butter.
That's it. That's all you
right?
need.
And you can survive even a little town like that. Well, but the energy part of it, was it something that your mom or your dad did that gave you just this love of just food and people and sharing with strangers, information, and wanting to make sure that these people have a pleasurable experience? Where does that come from?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think initially the love for food definitely comes from my family. Culturally speaking, everyone has their cultural foods that they're so proud of and that, you're eating all the time. And for me, being Armenian, it's that home cooked Armenian meal, which shout out to my mom, the best cook ever. Like if you didn't know, you would think this lady has the top of any, executive and
like a
master
James
chef.
Beard Award winner,
Really,
right?
I give her 100 James Beard Awards, So growing up and eating her food all the time, and to be honest with you, growing up, I actually didn't eat out that often. We were always eating at home, figured that was healthier, whatever my mom cooked and so forth. And for us, which I'm sure from many other cultures as well, the time you eat is literally a like festivity, a festive occasion. When family gets together, it's a big, feast. We don't have, growing up, I never knew what it was like to cook enough just for that day. Like if we would have people over for Armenians, the table has to be filled from one end to the other, no empty space. If there was like, even if you knew you had enough food for everyone, but there was like empty spaces on the table, I mean, you just don't do it. So you'll have leftovers for the next 6 days, but it doesn't matter. You just have to have a full table filled with food. So, growing up, that was huge. And from there, I think I started trying out just different cultural foods and restaurants and appreciating that. Just as like Anthony Bourdain says, it's food of different cultures is like really what brings people together. No matter what the difference is, with different types of food, like you will have people come together through that. Right. So, yeah.
Our last podcast, we had Sarah Brooke from the Dessert Gallery
on. Okay.
And I just was asking her favorite restaurant. So she's got her favorite dessert place is her Dessert Gallery, but she's obsessed with Indian food.
Ooh.
And it's just so curious I was so surprised she said that. I thought, maybe barbecue or something like. Speaking of barbecue.
Yes.
Truth Barbecue. Where's your favorite barbecue place in Houston? I'm obsessed with Truth.
Okay.
But that's just me.
That's so hard. Only because I feel like every different barbecue spot has a different favorite of mine.
Yes.
Like I feel like Killen's Barbecue in Pearland is known for like their beef ribs and the bread pudding, which is amazing. Then you have Harlem Road Texas Barbecue, very well known for also their beef ribs, the pork ribs, chocolate croissant bread pudding. So I feel like I have different spots for a few different things on the menu, know. So just once you know exactly what you like, just come to me and I'll tell you what my favorite is.
So what do restaurants come to you? Do just regular Houstonians come to you? How do you kind of get your next destination?
Yeah, a little bit of both. So lately, as my blog is, thankfully grown through time, it's been restaurants, PR companies emailing me or reaching out to me through Instagram and inviting me to different tastings like, hey, come out with a friend and everything on us and so forth and just get to try a little bit of the whole menu, which is super fun. However, I try my best to go in at a separate time too on my own because I feel like sometimes the experience I get through that may be different than what an average person would get. And that's happened to me before. I've gone into, a certain restaurant and I'm like, oh my God, this is incredible. And I'll tell a bunch of my friends, go try it. And they'll go and they'll say, you know what? I don't really think it was that great. I'm like, okay, that should not happen. Wow. So I'll try it out again, just kind of low key. Maybe if the people there didn't really see me or know me. And I'm like, this really isn't that great? Like, I just got the like enhanced experience, you
Wait a
know?
minute. You're telling us that sometimes social media is a lie? Is that what you're saying?
What? It's hard to believe, right?
That's a really good strategy. That
Yeah.
really
Well,
is a good
hey,
way to do it.
on that
Because
note,
it's your name.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. And I never, ever promote anything that I don't believe in, which, you know, this is where I think that the fact of having a full-time job and at the same time having this blog, you know, kind of shows that it's not the money that's keeping me in this blogging aspect. So you have certain bloggers, you know, which it's great for them, full-time bloggers, so forth, but because it is their main source of income, whatever comes their way, they will accept. It's like, oh, okay, I hate that place, whatever, $500, I'll take it. And so for me, no. First of all, it's taken me years to build the credibility of my follower, to build my own credibility to my followers. So for them to be able to trust at this point where I say, hey, this restaurant, this coffee shop, this bar, this hotel, this spa is good. Literally the next day I get messages. Oh, I made reservations. Oh, I went. It was great. And I love that. Like, it took me so long to build that. I will never lose that over anything. And so, yes, do I turn down campaigns that come to me that I don't believe fall within my portfolio? Absolutely. Because in the end, credibility is what took me years to gain, and I can lose it in an instance just for the few $100 extra that I wanted from that post. So I never promote what I don't believe in. I'm huge on that, you know, so I try to keep up with that as
That
my
is so good.
yeah.
So good. I love that. Now, if you were to put together a staycation, end of the summer, one last big blowout weekend, what would it look like for you?
It's really, really funny that you ask that because I'm actually finalizing a campaign for Yelp that I had, and that is exactly what I'm putting together. So that's hilarious.
Perfect.
Okay. Ooh, that's so hard. So lately, you know, my nights out have been in the River Oaks district, you know, ever since they've kind of not revamped, you know, kind of glammed up that spot with many, you know, Toulouse is a French restaurant which has live music a few times a week outside. You know, there's a few high-end restaurants, the Steak 48, a steakhouse, Bisou, Lock Bar, and Ozu Bay that just opened up, Le Clinic, so forth. There's so many different options there for food. And separate from that, you know, I like to be in energetic environments, but not necessarily out clubbing. So it's fun, energetic environment with good music and so forth. So kind of night out would be there. Brunches, you know, Tiny Boxwoods, always a favorite. Super cute, healthy spot, adorable, especially on a nice day outside. Hotels, you know, Hotel Alessandra, Hotel Zaza, the Houstonian, all great hotels around Houston. You know, obviously, go to the museum district. Check out a few of the museums there. Museum of Fine Arts is amazing. A lot of cool exhibitions, special exhibitions that pop up. A lot to do in Houston.
So
you know.
much.
So, yeah.
What about dessert?
Oh, that is my biggest, you know, what's the word?
Is it an indulgence or is it something that is you're trying to stay away from? Because I've been sugar-free for 6 months while my son's been in Afghanistan. He should be home on American soil in August.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
So when I mention dessert, I am going to go crazy.
Oh my God. I am in love with desserts. Like, that is I can say no to rice, to bread, to chips.
Me too.
No problem.
I could say no to dinner.
I probably could too.
Right?
And when it comes to dessert, I'm like, no, you know, I'm being healthy today. I'm not going to. And all of a sudden, they'll be like, oh, we have this chocolate on chocolate on chocolate dessert. And I'm like, okay, I'll take one of those. And I can never just have one bite. People will be like, it's okay. I mean, you can just, you know, have dessert in moderation. Just take one bite. If I have one bite, I'm eating the whole thing.
Exactly.
And if I'm eating the whole thing, I'm probably eating 5 of them, you know? So that's always, especially chocolate. Anything chocolate, bring it to me. Whatever's too sweet for others or too rich, as they say, not for me.
For you.
You know?
Not for you.
So that's what I save all my calories and
that's
for.
why you work out every day religiously, so you can have a little
Yeah.
indulgence.
So when I see that chocolate cake, come to mama, baby.
You have 3 top places?
Yes.
All right.
Okay. So there's a chocolate dessert at Hugo's, which I love.
Okay.
So that's one.
Mm-hmm.
The tres leches this is not chocolate, but it's amazing. At America's or Churrasco's are awesome.
Okay,
So good. And then what else? Ooh, Mastro Steakhouse butter cake. I don't even like non-chocolate desserts that often, but that cake is dangerous.
Okay.
I had heard a lot about it, tried it out, fell in love, add it to the list if it's
Butter
not yet.
cake.
Yes.
Anything with the word butter.
Yeah.
I'll put butter on crackers. That's how desperate I've gotten for some richness. So butter
Well,
cake.
you know what's funny? Going back to butter, sometimes I'll go to restaurants and I'm like, okay, I'm trying to be healthy. You know, this is like historically. Nowadays, if I go somewhere and like, I gotta try this, you know, I'll try whatever they want me to try. But historically, I would be like, oh, you know, just no butter in the sauce. No, you know, I would just try to be healthy. And they would be like, oh, why? Do you have an allergy? I started realizing that like if I didn't tell them I had an allergy, they would put the butter anyway. So I'm like, yeah, I have an allergy. So then I would get the dessert menu. They're over here trying to make my sauce with no butter because they think I have an allergy.
Right.
Then the dessert menu comes up and I'm like, I'll take this chocolate cake. They're like, ma'am, that's made with butter. I was like, oh, you know, I'm just going to take it for my sister. You know, I'm going to take it. And I'm over here like, I'm going to eat that cake.
You've got to, I understand everything in moderation, but the way that you do it, and you've got a purpose and you're driven to do it, it's not like you're out just feasting all the time. And so what you do for the Houston community in trying to guide us, because the restaurants here are ridiculous.
Absolutely
and
incredible.
there are so many different cultures and places, from Katy to the Woodlands and everything in between. And I don't even know if you venture out into the suburbs or if you're just kind of staying in close to the city.
Most of the time within the city. However, if I hear or read about anything incredible that I have to try out outside of the city, absolutely.
You'll
You know,
venture
like
out.
in the Woodlands, Tris, amazing. Going to Richmond, Texas, you know, Harlem Road, Texas barbecue that I mentioned. So I will absolutely venture out.
Let me ask you this. I think I see that your schedule is busy, and I really appreciate that you took time to come here.
No,
because we are
thank you
learning
for
so much
having
from
me.
Are you a Netflix, Hulu, Prime Video? Do you do anything like us regular people do, or are you work and blog?
Honestly, I do not watch TV.
I knew it. I knew you were going to say
Not
that
because I don't like it.
But how could you do all that you do if you're home binge watching?
Absolutely. So here and there, when I've heard of the incredible series, which call me crazy, you know, the Game of Thrones and Stranger Things, I haven't watched any of them. I don't have the time, but even if I did, I kind of get scared to get hooked. I don't have the time to get hooked. Like, I can't be watching these things. And so, yeah, you know, between work, the gym, events, handling my own social media, I actually handle social media as well for, you know,
For
other
your company, right? Or
for my own company, but also
And restaurants,
other
I saw.
restaurants. I
Yeah.
handle for them as well. And, you know, family is key for me, family and friends. So whenever I do have that free time, if I have the option of, oh, okay, now let me go home and watch this movie or catch up with all these series, or, okay, let me go hang out with my family, my niece, my nephews, which are my life, you know, that absolutely comes first to me.
I see that your perspective is so healthy that I can't imagine that you would let any kind of negative comment affect you like it does so many people on social media. Have you had to deal with any of that?
Thankfully,
Or have you been just a lucky girl who's just, you know, sometimes there's just that spirit kind of emerges and it doesn't upset people. It doesn't make them jealous. They just like want to celebrate your success.
Sure. You know what? I've been very blessed, lucky, call it you want, to not have anything super bad in that way. Here and there, you get people with their opinions on a restaurant and
Right,
so
which
forth,
is
which is
fine.
fine. You know, like my experience may have been enhanced, maybe it was a regular experience, but like you didn't order the right things. So they'll tell me like, oh, hey, I didn't really like it. But then I'll tell them, no, go again, but get these things. And then they'll try it out and come back and tell me, no, actually, you're right. Once I tried these things, I do love it, you know? But, you know, it comes with it, right?
Yeah.
I don't mind people's opinions at all. But I'm also, you know, try to be a very positive person in every aspect in life. I think, you know, life is too short to stress about little things, to, you know, put focus on small little things in your life that aren't going the way you want. When I think about it in the big scheme of things, I'm like, there's people out there that don't have jobs, that like don't have families, that are battling huge, you know, sicknesses. Like they wish that these stupid little problems were the problems that they had.
Yeah.
So even, you know, when I find myself getting hung up about, oh my God, I'm stressed about this poster, I'm like, stop. What are you doing? Like, you're alive, you're healthy, you have a family, you have a job, everything is great. Stop it, you know? So sometimes you have to kind of put it into perspective there. But going back to your question, yeah, here and there I get people's opinions in terms of comments, but I haven't had anything bad, and I'm super thankful for that. Shout out to my amazing followers for that.
Let me ask you, I noticed some of your pictures, you've got fashion
Yeah.
part of it too. How do you pick that? How do you feel about that? The shots are beautiful.
Thank you.
Do you have a photographer who comes with you to do these?
You know what? For the most part, it's been, if I'm with friends, my mom has actually taken some of my best shots. People are like, who took that picture? I'm like, my mom did. And I'm so surprised. Yeah.
Wow.
But, and then here and there, I get a photographer when I get the chance. My schedule's just so crazy that sometimes it's hard for me to coordinate a time with a photographer and then make sure that like I'm still available for it, because something will pop up, an event will pop up. I'm like, oh, I have to be there. So sometimes when it's my friends or family, it's a little bit easier. But it's a little bit of mix of both. And I started incorporating that, when I first started my blog, I was like, it's only going to be food. Even in my stories, I was never in them. It's only going to be about that. I don't want to make it about me. But as I started talking to different people and, getting their feedback or, just comments towards me telling me you're so energetic, you're so personable. Like, why don't you ever include yourself?
Yes.
I think people would like and, kind of relate to you more if they could see you. So I slowly started incorporating myself, and I like it because in the end, it's turned out to be more than just food. It's a lifestyle, right? It is, hey, I can go to these restaurants, I can work out, I can try. It's possible. It's all possible, So, and, that to me, it ended up being some of the most meaningful feedback that I've gotten. So it's great. I love when people try out the restaurants I like or coffee shop or bar or spot and tell me they love it. That's great. But when people actually turn to me to tell me, hey, listen, like, I know you don't know me. I'm going through an extremely hard time in my life right now. And like coming to your page puts a smile on my face every day. Or like, I'm going through these health problems and like you really inspire me by showing me that like, whatever, I try out your workout. Yeah, that is what makes me like want to cry. The food, all that is great. But when I hear that I'm inspiring people in different ways, in bigger ways, that is like what melts my heart,
Because people want that energy. Not everybody has this energy. And so they're just trying to find, what is it about her? Can you share a tip? Can you tell me what you do? I always say daily habits. I love learning people's daily habits, especially high energy people. What would your daily habit be like?
Man, my biggest tip, I would say, aside from making sure to get enough sleep,
which we don't do in radio, by the way.
I know. I'm sure you don't. You told me you woke up at 3:30.
3:30, yes.
I woke up at 5, and I thought that was early. Time management has got to be the biggest thing for me, and I think probably, one of the most important things for people on a daily basis, right? Mm-hmm. We're all trying to balance different things we have going on, whether it may be my schedule, whether it's, your schedule, and when you have the time to eat and go here, and you have kids, and everyone has a list of things they want to do, and then a list of things with the amount of hours there is in a day that they actually have time to do. Right. So like it's about a matter of prioritizing that, and at the end of the day feeling accomplished by hitting all of those things that you actually prioritized and were able to accomplish for that day. So with everything I have going on, that is key for me to be successful.
Do you have certain daily habits when it comes to food to keep that energy going? Or are you just kind of like energy with food doesn't even matter? I mean,
No.
You being a food blogger, is food very important in energizing you?
Oh, absolutely. So aside from you guys always always seeing me eat, at restaurants and eat out.
Right.
Outside of that, my diet is very, very clean.
I figured.
So that's, of course, key. I'm looking at eating proteins and healthy fats, your avocados, your peanut butter, almond butter, nuts, substitutes for rice being quinoa, potentially brown rice. So salads, greens, vegetables. So that, of course, anyone can read any article, any book. Food and sleep and water are key to live a healthy balance.
How much water do you drink a day? I hate water.
Yeah, I drink probably 5 bottles maybe per day.
5?
Yeah.
Like what size bottles?
The typical Ozarka
Oh,
ones.
just
What
the
are they?
smaller
Like
ones?
the
Okay.
16, 12 ounce, 16 ounce.
Man,
Yeah,
I
I should drink more, especially knowing how much it benefits also your skin.
I know. I go to Trader Joe's and I get a case of this electrolyte water, and I just say, I'm going to drink 1 a day. And I left it home today, and I'm like, oh, well, bummer.
Yeah.
But if I put lemon in it, I'm more
Then you might
inclined to
drink
drink
it.
it.
Yeah.
But I just know
I have to remind
so good for us.
myself,
Yes.
I'll have it sitting there and I'm like, okay, finish this. I used to actually get upset with my friends because like I would like to know how much water I drink per day.
Right.
So I'm halfway through the bottle. Someone's like, oh, let me have some water. I'm like, no,
You can't
I'm
do
trying
that.
to keep track of
Yeah,
where I'm at.
my
You just
husband does
ruined
that.
it.
And now that I'm in a wheelchair for the next 6 weeks, I'm thinking, should I drink this water? Because it's going to mean going to the bathroom. And you know
Yeah,
how hard it is to go to the bathroom.
exactly.
It's just one of those crazy things. But your daily habits just sound spot on. I figured you were a clean eater, so you can go and indulge. We can eat whatever we want, as long as the majority of the time we're a clean eater.
Absolutely.
Right?
And that's the thing. People are like, you must have great genes. I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to do better about showing you guys outside of the restaurants, what I'm doing with my life.
Yeah.
I'm working out 6 to 7 days a week. I'm eating super clean. So no, it's not the genes. It's actually me putting in a lot of work to make sure that, I get the results that I want in many ways. Not only, it's not for me, it's not a physical thing. It's for a long time, happy, healthy life. It's a lifestyle. It's not a day-to-day, let me just, eat well for this vacation. It's
Forever.
having a happy, healthy, forever longevity. Yeah.
Your favorite things about Houston, what would they be?
Yeah. So absolutely the restaurant scene.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing, amazing restaurants, which I will never feel, get enough credit. Unfortunately, we're not in New York, we're not a LA, we're not a Chicago to where these Michelin, people come and give the ratings. Houston is just, still I feel underrated in that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So absolutely. Secondly, the people, anyone that travels to Houston, to Texas, the first thing they notice, like, everyone is so nice. They're so friendly. They're so warm. Now, don't get me wrong. Not everyone, right? I'm sure you have your people that aren't that way.
We
But
have
for
our
the
experiences on the freeway.
exactly,
we all have a bad day.
But for the most part, people are always willing to help. I mean, look at after Hurricane Harvey.
Exactly.
Look how the city came together in unimaginable ways. Your house may be great. You may be fine. You may not have suffered anything, but the people that are going out and going out of their ways, spending money, spending time to do, things for others. I'm going to use my sister and my brother-in-law, for example. My brother-in-law went out and bought, kayak boat to start going rescuing people out of there. We were fine, thank goodness. But he went out to do that and then hosted like 10 people at their house. So,
That's so cool.
It's not just him. I'm just using him as a personal example,
Right.
but everyone knows like how this city came together. And that to me is one of the biggest things that Houston has to offer,
I always say that. It might not be a beautiful city. We make our own beauty.
Absolutely.
And our people are beautiful in
yeah.
this city. Now, you mentioned Yelp, and I know our social media guru, Joe Bond here, is obsessed with
Joe
Yelp.
Bond or James Bond? I had to throw that one in there.
It is Joe Bond. He thinks he's James Bond. But anyway, how did you get hooked up with Yelp? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. I actually got an email from a PR company in New York, specifying some details on a potential opportunity. And what they're trying to do is in multiple cities around the U.S., trying to get different bloggers, influencers to create a collection. Within this collection would be something similar to what you mentioned about staycations, but asking me if you had to have a Houston staycation, where are the 5 things or the 5 places that you would want to go? And it could be anything from shopping to hotels, restaurants, areas that I think are super cute, bars, and so forth. That was super hard because I'm like, do I only have to give 5? Can I give you guys 50? We have so many great things. So yeah, they're just reaching out to different influencers nationwide and just trying to have everyone create a collection. I think in the end, maybe to compile them together to say, hey, if you're going to Houston, this is what these group of people recommend. So it was really exciting and really fun because it really made me take a step back and think like, only 5. Like we have so much to offer. Kind of helped me, you know, remember how many amazing things Houston has to offer.
Yes.
So
And who knows? We'll take that survey and we'll talk about it on Sunny 99.1
absolutely.
because Houston always lands on the best of list.
Yes.
Right?
Best
So
of many.
we will be watching for that Yelp one. And I have to ask you, so we have been talking about your incredible restaurants, the outfits. I love the fact that your mom takes photos of you. Oh my gosh, that just makes me love you even more. And her.
Wait, can I just make a really quick comment here?
Sure.
The funniest thing happened. We were at a wedding and she had her phone out. She was taking all these pictures and like they were really good. And then she turns to me and she's like, look at this picture. She's like, oh my God, I think your blogging events are helping me with these photos. I almost died. Like, I couldn't believe it. I take my mom to as many of the events as they can with me. She loves them. And every once in a while, I'll be like talking to my friends, at the blogging event. And I turn around. I'm like, oh, guys, let me go check up on my mom. She's here alone. I turn back. This social butterfly is in the middle of a circle with like people surrounding her, half her age. I'm like, okay, mom, you're cooler than me. Like, I'll go to events without her. They're like, where's your mom? I'm like, do you guys like her better than me? Like, should she just take over my blog? Because I think y'all like her more than
Well,
more
what's
than
her
me.
name? And we'll call her and have her come in.
Oh yes, Shushan. She will gladly be here.
You let her know.
But you need a 5-hour episode with her because if you think I talk a lot, I'm like, she'll definitely keep it going.
Share her recipes,
Exactly.
her wisdom as a mom. We would love her.
I'm not sure if she could really share her recipes because she has those mom recipes that aren't really recipes.
Oh, she just kind of goes.
She just kind of goes.
Yeah, she just knows.
People were always asking me in like middle school, okay, we had a class project. Okay, put your favorite home cooked ethnic meal recipe together. I would go home. I'm like, okay, mom, let's make dolma, which is like, grape leaves stuffed with ground beef. And so she's like, okay. She would start cooking. She takes a little pinch, puts it in. I'm like, Mom, how much is that? I need to write them out. And she's like, oh, in Armenian, there's a saying, it's achki chapov. It means like with the look of your eye, which is kind of like, it's instinctual. Yeah. I'm like, Mom, I can't write with the look of an eye, salt. Like, I have to write a full-on recipe they can recreate. So I don't know about the recipes, but maybe we can just watch her and she can show us.
She'd be amazing to meet. I would love to meet the mom of you and the pictures. And share us again with us where people can find you. And feel free to give a shout out to your followers and what we can expect if you've got anything fun coming up in the future.
Absolutely. So my Instagram handle is HoustonEateries. You can find it on Instagram, of course. It's a food and lifestyle blog. You can find my travels, my daily workouts, restaurants, coffee shops, bars around Houston that I try out. A lot of my recommendations. I'm super honest about everything. I think that's why people genuinely love coming to my page. If I didn't like it, I will not post it. And if I liked it, I will tell you exactly what I liked and what I think you should order when you go. I do a lot of giveaways. So certain restaurants, when they reach out to me and I do a post for them, it'll be like, a $250 dinner giveaway, which requires only a few things, liking my picture, following me in the restaurant, and then just tagging some friends. Yeah, so you have so many opportunities to either get tickets to really cool food events around Houston, giveaways to restaurants. Who doesn't want a free gift card to an incredible restaurant just for spending 30 seconds to like a few photos? So there's a lot you can find on there. I'm super passionate about it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to message me. I respond to everything, and super passionate about it if you can't already tell.
Just as you did to me. So I appreciate it. And that's how we met, because I messaged you on your incredible
Thank you so much
Instagram.
for that.
So you're the best. And I just have to ask you, if you could give advice to younger women who are maybe afraid to take a step out there, and you're very positive, and you seem like you power through, and you're persistent. What advice? What have you learned in taking a leap of faith that you might be able to share with a young lady who wants to start something like this?
Yeah, absolutely. And even not necessarily like this blogger-wise, just anything and being a successful female, whether it's an entrepreneur, someone with a great career, so forth. My biggest tip would be, if you think you can do it, to jump out there and give it a shot. I can't tell you how many times either I've doubted myself in these things, or even being a female engineer in the oil and gas industry, right? There's so many hurdles you kind of have to jump through. Everyone knows that there are not many females there. And starting out, going to school and majoring in engineering. I'm like, am I doing the right thing? I don't know. I'm like 10 people in a class of 10 women in a class of like 400, am I making the right decision? Can I do this? You kind of start doubting yourself. But I was like, I walked in and I was like, I can do this. It's going to take me 4 years of hard work. I studied hard. If you ask me where the best spots to party in Austin during that time was, I probably had no idea.
Know. Yep.
But my mentality was, I'm going to work hard for those 4 years. And then after that, I am going to enjoy my life. Versus sometimes people see it flip. Like, I'm going to party so hard during these college years and then kind of struggle the rest of my life. But I just thought of 4 years of an investment for a lifetime, knock on wood, but of success.
You're so smart.
So mentally, you kind of put it in your brain, whether it's, a career, whether it's blogging, whether it's anything else you kind of aspire to be or want to. If you think you can do it, push forward. Whether people tell you can't, whether you have those moments of doubts, because it's not going to be easy. There are going to be moments where you're like, I'm not doing the right thing. I can't do this. People think I can't do this. I'm going to give up. This route is easier. No, it's worth it and it's possible.
That is so cool. You are just a wise young lady. I wish I had you as a friend in college, so I wouldn't have been that other person. But you're just a delight, and it's just
Thank
the
you.
wisdom. I can sense there's a really strong family foundation
Absolutely.
of encouragement and support.
I could not have done it without them.
Yeah.
I'm one of the lucky few that, my parents paid fully for my college, and, I'm first generation born in the U.S. My parents are from Armenia.
Mm-hmm.
I have that immigrant background, that story. I feel for those who are coming to the U.S., to the land of opportunity, to start a new life. And look what happened to me, right? Like, my parents came here, my dad, my mom didn't know English, didn't have a dollar, didn't have any family here. And like, my dad was working night shifts, but going to college full time. I mean, probably living off of like 3 hours of sleep a day, got a degree, worked a successful job. And like, now I'm here. So growing up, going through college, I always told myself, like, I have no reason not to succeed. My parents had nothing when they came here, and like, they became successful. And if I am not successful, it's only my own fault. It's only an excuse. So that to me was kind of the foundation, my inspiration in terms of knowing that like, I was going to be successful no matter what it took.
The hardships that you were blessed enough to witness your mom and dad going through has been such a priceless gift. And unfortunately, so many Americans don't have that. And so they don't have that perspective of what it takes, because anybody could succeed in America.
Sure.
But we get a little bit lazy. And you seem to have, I think the key was you don't watch that much TV. And I'm like, darn.
But it's okay. My replacement for TV is probably Instagram, so it's probably worse.
Well, okay, all right. But still, it's bringing so much fun and joy and deliciousness to so many people. So you're just a delight. I knew I would love you. Just looking at your Instagram page, it's just happy. It's just happy, it's delicious, and it's fun.
Thank you so much. That means so. Thank you for having me. This is amazing. Sunny 99.1 all the way, baby.
We love you. Thank you so much for sharing some of your life with us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.